Dunne, we were talking with Leo just about the Christmas breaks and the opportunity for guys in the middle of the season to get away. You've been in the league for a few years. How beneficial is that time outside of hockey?
Oh, it's incredible. It's just a nice little break to get your mind away from it. And, I mean, sometimes from the outside you can't always see what's going on with guys, so some guys really need this break and they got stuff going on. So for them, it's really good, and it's a great little reset for players just because we don't get many breaks during the year, so it's nice to kind of take it away. You come back in, I don't know if you saw the ice today, but just the excitement, everyone's a little bit refreshed, everyone's kind of ready to go, and it's a lot of fun out there, and guys kind of bring that energy right after break. So I'm happy that the group was able to get that, and guys are ready to go. We're excited.
Everybody liked being away. Is there any level of bittersweetness with just, how well the team is playing? People will always talk about that kind of stuff. You're in a rhythm, you want to maybe stay in that rhythm, as opposed to if you're on a losing streak, maybe it's definitely time to get away.
I think that's probably part of it a little bit, but I think for us it's just a reminder of what we did during that streak to make it successful, and then vice versa, when streaks aren't going well, it's what we need to work on. So I think for us, we were in a great little run right there, but we did it a certain way, and so I think coaches are doing a good job reminding us that, and so I think tonight it's just continuing to do those things that we did earlier to make us successful, and that's the recipe for success every single night.
Sunday in Cleveland, did any of it feel like a monkey off the back just because of all the chances that you have had recently and just for whatever reason not going in?
Yeah, it always feels nice to kind of get one because sometimes you're like, why isn't it not working a little bit right now? But I mean, I feel like I've been in pro for a while now, and I've had to kind of work on this such long seasons where I try to tell guys this: you go through stretches of 10 games and you won't score a goal, and you go through a stretch of 10 games and score 10 goals, and the only difference is the puck was going in the net. So I think it's kind of like a law of averages thing where sometimes you're due for one, and then sometimes you're hot and you're riding that out. And so you do it long enough though, and you trust your process long enough, the goals will come. It's just a matter of time sometimes.
When you look at your body of work outside of just goals, and your head coach was in here a few minutes ago saying that you are probably the most consistent player that we've had this season. What does that mean to you, and how do you feel your collective game has been?
I feel like it's been pretty good overall, and I think I take a lot of pride in the consistency, and I think I've had to learn that. Like my first year or two in pro, I struggled with consistency a little bit. It's a long season, but I've had some good coaches and some good leaders to look up to where it's just every single day, it's the work in, the work out. You do it when you don't feel good, you do it when you feel good. And I think, like I said, over time, you trust that process and you know that process will get you the right result. Even if you're not scoring and you're still impacting the game. And I think that's an important part in pro. It's you have to find ways to impact the game even if you don't necessarily have it, if you're not feeling good, if you're feeling a little under the weather. So I think that's just a little bit of a learning thing for me right now, and I've continued to build, and I want to continue to build on that. But yeah, I think that's just a process thing for me, and I feel pretty good with my game overall right now. Like I said, the goals haven't necessarily been maybe where I wanted to be, but again, I understand it's a process, and that's part of it sometimes, so I just want to stick with it and do what I can to help the team win.
Standings would have this game tonight as a mismatch, but you've played in the North Division your entire AHL career. You have seen Utica quite a bit. I don't know that the standings really tell the story. They're a pretty tough team still.
Yeah, they really don't, especially there's a little bit of a rivalry there. I mean, quite a rivalry, how many times you play them throughout the year. So you kind of throw the records out the window a little bit when you play Utica and you play Syracuse. And these guys, they work really hard. They're really competitive, and every game you play is going to be a dogfight against them. And so I think for us, it's like we know what we're getting into tonight, and we're not looking at their record or looking at the standings in this moment. We're just looking at this opponent and trying to do what we can and focus on ourselves to get this result.
Are you looking at guys like Warren and Slaggert and Fiddler Stoltz and Kozak and something? Yeah. You guys are so aggressive. It's a whole lot of fun watching.
It is. So like you said, it's a lot of fun, and it's funny if you hear them, if you had mic'd up on the bench, they're just balls of energy all the time. Even in practice, like they're always yapping and talking, and it's just hilarious. Like sometimes I'm almost giggling on the bench because of how funny they are, but they work so hard and they're so competitive, which is so good to have as line mates because they just give you a chance every single night. And that's part of what consistency is what those guys bring every single day. So it makes it easier for players to play with them because they're so predictable. They work so hard. They communicate so well on the ice. They do all those things that maybe aren't like super flashy, but it makes it really good for your alignment. So I love playing with those guys. It's been awesome. I feel like we've been able to build some chemistry, and it's been a ton of fun. So I'm hoping we can keep going.
But the other part of it is, I guess the real plus side is you guys were talking about aren't known necessarily for their offensive numbers or whatever, but they're putting up great numbers. They're very productive.
Absolutely, and I think that's a product of them and how hard they've worked and how hard I see them work, and it's nice to kind of get rewarded for some of those things. But like I said, sometimes it's the impact that they have isn't always shown on the scoreboard, so it's nice that it's starting to show a little bit more, and that's a credit to them and the way they're playing and how good defensively some of those guys are playing, where they're not playing in their D zone, they're playing in the O zone, giving them a chance to score every night because of how well they're doing all those little intangibles. So I'm really happy for those guys, and like I said, I hope we keep going, and really happy with the way the team's playing, and I think we have so much potential in this room, and we can just continue to grow.
You're doing great. Love watching you. We're sure lucky to have you here. So.
Yeah, thank you. I love being here. So. Thank you so much.